Pals for Life. Hey everyone, welcome back to Pals for Life. Pals for Life is weekly radio for anyone who wants to enjoy World of Warcraft with some extra pals. We've got your commentary on news, rumors, and a special segment we like to call The Boss Fight. Today is October 12th, 2014. My name is Wilson, and I'm joined today by Randall.
What's up, guys?
Nano.
What's going on, fellas and girls?
And Lane.
Hello.
So we're glad to have Nano back with us. We had a special guest, David, last week, and we do appreciate him coming on. But we've got a lot to talk about, so let's jump right into this. Our Spellbreaker topic this week is about sub fees going up in China. So basically, they are up 45% relatively.
Jeez, that's quite an increase.
Yeah. That sounds like it's not a fun thing to do.
No, for them, yeah, that's gotta suck.
For China, they don't actually pay by month, it's by minutes played, which is very interesting.
Worse, thinking about how long people actually play, just from experience. Obviously, they're not going to be paying, some outrageous amount, like, obviously the currency is going to be different, but say we had to pay $1 a minute, that'd be horrid. Or even
$1 a minute.
Or just think about 10 cents per minute.
But theirs isn't even close to that. Isn't theirs like $2.50 for 20 hours?
Yeah, I think it's 11 cents an hour or something.
Yeah. That's not terrible, but then again,
if you play 30 hours a month.
Yeah. Personally, I don't like the feeling of paying per, second. Like, that would loom over me immensely if I was them, and that would actually sap a little bit of the fun out of the game. It hasn't stopped them, apparently, but still.
Right now, I'm not playing a whole lot, and I don't leave it running on in the background or anything, so I'd be probably alright. But I was thinking about it, and how long I used to leave the game just playing around, not even on there.
Right?
Sometimes just let it sit there for 8 hours. And I'd come on every 30 minutes to look at the auction house or something, and then go back to where the heck I was doing.
Yeah. But that's the difference in culture, I guess. Most of the time they're paying for playing at internet cafes, so this makes much more sense from their economic standpoint.
And if you think about it, if you had to pay per minute, would you sit there and talk to people and things like that? Be like, all right, I gotta go raid. I have to go raid. That's what I'm here to do. I have to go raid. We need to get this raid done. There's no dancing or anything. No slash dance.
Yeah, there would be no social aspect to it. But again, it changes completely once you're in an environment an internet cafe. It's a little more lax, I guess. Because if it was us, it would be, dude, why are you taking so long to change your stuff? Get over here. We have the clock's ticking. I'm paying money. Let's go.
We have 30 minutes. Hurry.
Dude, Lane, stop holding off on the sub. Come on, dude. That kind of thing, right? Yeah.
Hey, I'm saving money. Woo.
It'll happen soon. They're gonna raise subscriptions for every country besides the U.S., and then the U.S. is gonna be the last one to get hit.
Oh, man.
That's gonna be something. People are gonna complain so much.
What's it at right now?
It's $14.90 something a month.
$14.99.
And you can buy in bulk also.
Yeah.
If you're really into that.
Little discounts for a long time.
If you're really into that.
So right now we're at UK just had a hike. China has just now had their hike. And what's next? That's my question.
Aren't those the two other biggest markets?
Oceania and the US, maybe Latin American servers.
The Latin American ones, the servers.
Those are two large servers, basically. So it's bound to go ring around the rosy here pretty soon.
I think that they started us off at a pretty high rate either way. So I don't know if they're gonna raise it just because we pay quite a bit.
$99 is not cheap.
I think people in the United States will get more upset here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're upset about everything, right?
We're a lot more entitled, and we think we should have benefits other people don't.
I think the free-to-play market has definitely kicked a little bit of this, idea in the nuts, because look at League of Legends, you can get tons of gameplay out of that. It's totally free, not really, but it's totally free.
Yeah.
And there are other things, I don't know, Blacklight, Retribution. There's plenty of games out there with the free-to-play mindset that bring a lot of stuff to the table. And World of Warcraft, you really have to, you're shelling to play. So I think you definitely have to enjoy the game to play it, and that's definitely why they have a free trial area. But
yeah,
still.
And I think the difference is, is that, even though free to play isn't really free to play, I think we all know this, right? Like,
League of Legends.
if any of you play League of Legends like we do, like, and we have religiously, you'll spend money on skins and things of that sort, aesthetics, whatever else, like XP boost, that kind of thing. But at least you're choosing, I guess, right? I guess that's a big difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference between choosing and having to. So.
It's definitely some perspective on how we do game markets these days.
Yeah.
And I guess the other bigger picture here is that, WoW's recent subscriber drop has been mostly in the Eastern market more than anywhere else, and for them to do the rate hike on, the remaining players seems like another risky move.
Kick in the pants.
Oh yeah.
So we'll definitely have to see how that one plays out, and we'll be on the lookout for a rate increase here in the States. I think if it happens here in the States, I will not go to the Battle.net forums because it would be a war zone.
Oh yeah, scary to look at, I'm sure.
So moving over to our boss fight, this is a section of the show where Lane, who does not play WoW currently, basically brings up a topic that he wants to discuss productively with the rest of the show. So this week, Lane, what's your beef with WoW?
Alrighty, so this week I thought I'd do something a little different, not too different, but a little bit. We've kind of come to a recurring theme here in the show so far with our discussions on it, and something that comes up a lot is the oversimplification of the game. And I don't want to discuss it just in the context of, they're simplifying everything. I want to discuss how they may have overcomplicated things initially and then oversimplified them later. And I don't think Blizzard really has, their sights set on where they want it in between that. I think they've kind of just been swinging the bat and looking at where it lands. So there are things, and the biggest example that comes up in ours all the time is the talent tree. And according to you guys, and I barely even remember the talent tree. According to you guys, the talent tree has been completely gutted to some, ghost of its former self, basically. And I mean, if I think of the talent tree, I know I use the talent tree. If I think of it correctly, it's the way you decide you want to play your class, pretty much. So that confuses me as to why they would take that out later to simplify it. And you guys can definitely weigh in on this in just a moment if you need to. And then Ismail got on to me for this one, but there's a pet battle system? I didn't even know that's in the game. Why? And again, this isn't necessarily bad, but why? And your reasoning was because it's awesome. We'll get to that. Next up would definitely be professions. Not too bad here. I think they've added things that can be meaningful, but I mean, some of the professions seem like they're probably useless, or, just something you do to pass time, or you would do if you really are a completionist. So that's obviously not necessarily needed. And then the hottest of the topics among us, the Dungeon Finder. And you guys have definitely brought this up on a few different occasions where this has oversimplified something that you guys remember very fondly. I came into the game when this was already here. I actually rather like Dungeon Finder, but you guys are so vehement about this, I thought it was definitely worth mentioning. So I'm curious. I want us to just throw this out here. How do you see Blizzard taking this oversimplification and possible overcomplication into account now? They obviously haven't found where they want the ball to land yet, so I want to know what you guys
think. Okay. Well, as for the pet battling system, it's fun. It gives people something to do besides, the same boring old thing that they do over and over and over and over. But we'll get into that later. But as far as oversimplification, it's definitely an issue. It's definitely an issue. But I think they wanted to make it a little bit easier for people who weren't so, into MMOs or into PC gaming or anything in general to be able to understand the game. I think for some time they were looking for more subscription, whether it be from newer people, whether it be from older people, just depending. They wanted new subscribers, because there's people like us that are always going to pay for the game regardless of what it comes down to, unless it turns into like Guild Wars or something, we're going to continue playing it because it's World of Warcraft. Now, as far as wanting to get, new subscribers, they wanted to make it easier for them to understand the game, the layout, the interface, not having to put so much, and it sounds bad, but not having to put so much effort towards playing the game. People have gotten so accustomed to using a controller that had 3 or 4 buttons and a couple sticks. There's not much that you have to do. Whereas in PC gaming, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of other aspects of the game that you have to take into account, as far as having to run cycles of your abilities over and over to make sure you're doing it correctly, or you have to say you're fighting a druid, then you end up fighting a paladin. You have to switch your style up, and there's a lot of multitasking that's going on. But with them oversimplifying it all, they made it a heck of a lot easier for people to just put macros in, click it, and you do 3 things at once. It's gotten down to the point where they did oversimplify it, but for good reasoning.
I'd like to pose a very specific question then, real quick.
Go ahead.
Do you think they initially overcomplicated it? Was the game too complicated to begin with, or did people sort of just want it, watered down into the state it is now? It's not necessarily the people's fault for, needing a little bit more accessibility, but I don't know where Blizzard was trying to go with it, because WoW is a very hallmark example of stuff like this, where the raids are super high level and there's stuff like that. And we even saw this with something as recent as Destiny, the raids in that. People heard there was going to be no finder for that and learned it was going to be like the highest level content, and had like the biggest fit on the internet for about a week. It's content made for the people who are the highest of the high, who can do the biggest stuff. And that's how WoW has for a long time with, the dungeons and the raids, but now it's been made more accessible. So was it overly complicated when it came out? That's the real question.
Well, I'll say this. As far as the talent tree system, there's games that are far, far, far more complicated than that. Far more complicated, to where you don't have just one specialization, and then a couple of points in the other talent trees. No. There's games where you have 3 different talents that you have to fill in correctly, or your character is just, obsolete. It's weird.
Has anyone played Path of Exile here? That's what comes to mind for me.
Well, what comes to mind for me is, have you ever played Rift?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Or EVE Online too. No, it's Rift. I think it's Rift.
Yeah, I was going to say, I played EVE Online a little bit.
And in Rift, it's very complicated. You can have a battle mage that is also a cleric it's weird, And they still have lots and lots of people that are playing the game. So as far as overcomplicating, I don't think it was overcomplicated to begin with. It was a little bit harder for people to understand that we're a little lazy, because you did have to put some time into, getting your certain spec down pat. It took skill.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where I have a problem with it. Now people make macros, click a couple buttons, and then you can kill somebody, But that's my input. I mean, if anybody else has anything to say.
I just wanted to say that, when World of Warcraft was made, a lot of people were playing Dark Age of Camelot and EverQuest 2. And so I think that those games were used as, Blizzard definitely played those games and understood them well before making WoW.
They're making the MMO.
Right. So I'm just saying that, there was already some groundwork laid by other developers. And you can't go too far off of the formula, or else you're not going to be able to attract, the target audience that may already be playing competitors' games.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one thing I think that was kind of helpful to consider why it might feel like overcomplicated from the start.
Yeah. And
What's Randall?
I want to get to kind of the heart of Lane's question about how WoW oversimplifies and overcomplicates, or how it can do either, and maybe retracts on the other and compensates trying to fix it. I think, as far as complicated go, I don't think that is nearly as much as an issue. I think, some people maybe talk about how the old talent tree was complicated, and things like that. But if you're a person who really wasn't interested in exploring it, you could easily go online and look up the top builds. I mean, that's easy as anything, and then clicking a few buttons until you've got what the exact match is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't change anything. And then, when they changed the talent system, they didn't change the abilities really. Like you still have as many abilities, well, more now since we're at level 90, but you have as many abilities as you did before they changed the talent system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, those haven't really changed. It just changed, like, how your character does things, I guess. How your character does those abilities and little perks that you get. You don't have as many of those anymore. It's more streamlined, and everyone kind of does the same thing now. And before, every class might act a little bit different, like, depending on their build.
Yeah, that's the real draw to me, because not having that big skill tree that you can pick from means that everything kind of just amalgamates into this ball of everyone's kind of the same, which is definitely oversimplification in a game where there's so much content and so many people playing that they could definitely use a little bit of a kick in a different direction.
Right, and I think Blizzard really focused on streamlining a lot of things because, the biggest one that we all think about is, like you said, looking for raid and looking for group, party finding system. It's, I think they just wanted to make it easier, of course. Why not make it easier for, people to get the loot that they want or to experience the things that they want. And they still gave the option, though, for people to group up as a guild and go tackle the raids and get even better gear. You know what I mean? So there's that incentive to group up with some mates and things like that, and then go in and knock things out so that you can get the gear that everyone wants.
Yeah,
so
that's really cool.
I guess they didn't really remove it from the aspect of the game, but a lot of people don't want to work as hard to get the good gear.
Yeah, and that's the streamline. Maybe we should just call it over-streamlining. I don't know, because that's really what it seems they were trying to do for a majority of these things, and it may have worked out differently than they intended, or just pissed off a bunch of veterans in the process. But either way, I hear about it enough that I think it's definitely a problem. So the overcomplication seems like it was never really an issue. And in my experience, I really like that. Things are gonna be complicated from the start because this is a freaking MMO and there's so much to do. And I really like that you just have to discover it with everyone. And I'm experiencing this with the more games that I play. There's some games like that, and it's a great feeling learning things about the game that people may not know, maybe have no idea. And taking the game down a notch after that definitely devalues it a little bit in that area.
I'd say I would argue that WoW still can be pretty daunting for a new player. It still has some areas that take some learning and some understanding and mastery.
Okay, yeah. Don't let me go past my bounds there. That's certainly correct.
But I think WoW is complicated in the wrong areas. Like, like Eastman was saying, you can make macros and stuff, but you also have to know how to make macros and how they interact with each other and things like that. And how those abilities are going to work together when you mash them together. If you're like a new player that's coming in, I mean, like as a rogue, like, you have your Vanish preparation into Vanish, into a sap, and then, you have to cheap shot, and then right after you cheap shot, you're supposed to kidney shot, to get that extra damage and time and stunned. And then if there's a guy to your, off to your left, you kind of have to do focus target and blind him while still doing abilities to this guy. And, it's just like a lot of stuff that you wouldn't know if you just start playing the game. Well, I think the abilities and stuff can be streamlined, but like in the background when you have time to think about it and stuff, like when you get to your talent trees and stuff, that's something that should be more complicated. Because you have time to sit and think about that, and that's gonna also, like, doing those talents and stuff are gonna help you understand your own better also, I think. So.
Yeah. Okay. And I didn't take that into account. Just, playing a warrior for so long, it's just like, you charge, then you beat the crap out of them until they're dead.
Blade Storm on some chumps.
Pretty much. Whereas like rogues, hunters, druids, all that. Man, when I started playing a druid, I was like, am I supposed to just click rejuvenate all the time? Or like, I didn't know that there was so many other things that had to be put into it. So
yeah.
In that sense, there's still, quote unquote complication in there to make it a little bit of a thought process to, pique your interest. So they still have it enough to keep people in there, keep people wanting more, to keep people learning. And I think that's a really good thing. It's a really good mix of both. Otherwise people wouldn't continue playing it. They wouldn't get new subscribers, They have loyalists like us, but, they wouldn't be getting new people to come in and play if it wasn't a good system.
Yeah.
And I think Blizzard's really good about going through things. As far as on World of Warcraft anyway, going through things over and over until they're like, you know what, I think this is good. I think they're going to like it. You know, people that are going to get pissed off are going to get pissed off, but they're going to stay with us either way. So, you know, I think they've done a good job of all that.
Yeah. So I think the takeaway from this is that I personally, and I think you guys as well, would like to see a little bit more focused streamlining from Blizzard. Not too heavy-handed, not too light-handed. I think they just need to find a balance. So.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be seeing some of this balance come into play with the pre-expansion patch coming out. We're going to move right over to Tavern Talk. This is a segment of our show that is basically news and rumors heard from all over. And the first item on the list is WoW joins forces with McDonald's in China. So basically 3 restaurants around China in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou have been decked out WoW style.
Really WoW style.
I think the coolest one, which one is it? The one that has the actual dark portal.
Yeah.
I think it's Beijing. Is it Beijing? I'm almost positive it's Beijing.
I have no idea.
They have
it's classic Beijing.
The legitimate dark portal entrance, you know, pillars and all, just to go into McDonald's. You know, it looks really cool, and I think that's a perfect marketing thing for them. They're gonna be able to sell a heck of a lot more.
I just noticed something, and this is totally irrelevant, but on the front doors of that one we're looking at, the Beijing one with the dark portal, they have Jaina's picture there, but it's actually the picture from Hearthstone.
Oh, wow.
That's totally irrelevant, but kind of interesting.
Blizzard hype.
Yeah, Blizzard hype.
And if you are in China, apparently you can order delivery, and when you do so, you'll get a points card that can be used to redeem WoW items, like, you know, in-game potions and pets and stuff.
Crazy.
Also, they're only around till November 4th, and then they're back to just McDonald's. So, I don't know if it's time for international traveling, but if you're in China...
when in China, right?
Yeah.
Go to World of Warcraft style McDonald's. That's pretty cool, though. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of a restaurant doing that here in the States, really, for WoW.
I mean, you know, it just wouldn't go over well here. People still have that nerd attitude a little bit here. In China, I'm sure that's like, it's pretty much irrelevant. Why does that even matter, kind of thing.
Like it.
Also, apparently the last WoW-themed stuff happening in China was an illegal theme park, so I'm not sure if this is even an official partnership or not. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
This looks official, and I mean, it's McDonald's, first off. You gotta think about that. And then second off, the stuff that I can visually see that's inside these stores looks very high quality and like right from the source material. I could not imagine them getting away from Blizzard with this. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. This is almost certainly legit. Like, there's no way.
Well, at any rate, you can check out the pictures for all this good stuff on the site. Our next topic is garrisons are going to send Leroy to protect you. So what I mean by that is basically followers can help you out when you're in your general world questing, and basically Leroy is going to be one of those characters. So
it's pretty cool. Pretty cool homage. And I'd like to note here that we're pretty much going full Diablo with this right here.
Oh, with the followers, yeah?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Also, players can get up to 25 active followers of various types and level them up over time. This sounds like the pet system, too.
Yeah,
that's a little army.
That's a lot of people. I mean, I thought it would be like 4 or 5, but holy, 25? Jeez.
25 followers.
As our friend David would say, minions.
Say what?
Minions. It's one of his catchphrases. He says minions.
Catchphrases.
Yeah, when he sees like a swarm of any kind of animal or creature or insect, whatever, he'll say that.
It'll be interesting to see how they implement bodyguards, because I mean, right now it doesn't seem like you usually need them that much when you're out around in the world at level cap. So
yeah, you gotta wonder if this is gonna be more of a. Will it become necessary then? Is kind of my question. Will you have to have this? Yeah, to deal with the content that they're dropping into this patch.
I think it's more of an additive. Like, it's like gonna help you make income and that kind of thing more.
Okay. Yeah, do they give you like combat stats, or are they purely?
No, like in PvP and stuff, it's not gonna do anything.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be stupid.
They have helpful abilities, so you can like do stuff like getting a portal back to your garrison or summon friends.
Okay.
So they give like external stuff like that too.
Yeah.
As anything as far as battlegrounds and things like that.
No, nothing like no actual content stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
raids, anything like that. I don't think they'll help.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, because that would throw a big, nice wrench in the balance formula right there.
Pretty much.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll follow you around in PvE and do something for you in PvE, bust a couple guys over the head or some crap like that. But as long as they're not too good, then
they might in open world, but I don't think they will in any kind of instance.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it'll be nice to see more about the acquisition and benefits of followers. So, our last topic in Tavern Talk is going to be patch 6.0.2, the Iron Tide.
Heyo.
So this thing's coming out on Tuesday, the 14th. As soon as you download it, you'll be able to play, hopefully, if the servers don't go down for some weird reason.
Oh, God.
After maintenance. But basically, the Iron Horde incursion is going to be happening at the Dark Portal. The Dark Portal will turn red, and you'll be able to do, all sorts of the activity that they have planned for us there. Also, there are going to be 3 of 5 bosses available in new level 90 Ubers.
Hey.
So
I know Dave was excited about that.
Yeah,
we'll be playing that for sure.
Yeah, Lane will be playing that.
Oh.
Have a level 90 by then.
Yeah. Better get to work, dude. You got till Tuesday.
Also, every class will see abilities changed, added, and removed. So this is going to be like this oversimplification thing we're talking about.
Or maybe it's good. I honestly don't know.
This one sounds good to me.
Of course, you can find all of the notes for patch 6.0.2 on Blizzard's website, but we'll talk just kind of generally about the patch.
Are there any abilities that you guys would like to specifically highlight on the patch? Anything that you see that's pretty crazy?
Oh, all the Druid instant heals that didn't have any cast time are getting cast times.
Oh, that's good. That makes you extremely happy then, I know that.
Oh,
Wait.
yeah, dude.
Wait. Repeat that one more time so that I can just be in shock again.
Hots are no more.
Dude, that's not good.
Yeah, dude, it made them invincible. It's time to put a stop to this.
No.
That's awesome.
And then they're like, and then like for rogues and other classes that stun a lot, like sometimes monk do a little bit even. They're like having deteriorating returns on those. So if like I stunned you for 20 seconds earlier, you're only gonna get stunned for 2 seconds next time. You know what I mean?
That's not a global change, is it?
That's for every class.
Ooh, wow, that's.
And it happens with warlocks for their fear also. I think maybe I could be wrong about that, but I think fear is also.
Which class is it that you said you hated fighting because you were just locked down the whole time?
I mean, rogues do that.
Rogues.
Well, yeah, we all hate. I hate rogues. So hey, maybe I'll hate rogues less after this.
Yeah. Warlocks can kind of do that too sometimes, but
maybe it was warlocks that you were.
But I mean, all classes have a little bit of that. I mean, it's just how they're balanced out. You know what I mean? Like some classes do just like amounts of damage. Some classes just make you upset because you can't play. That's kind of how it is right now.
Lots of content has not been coming into the game for a while, so people will be excited. I'm sure everyone's been running Ubers like crazy.
Finish y'all's float quests up if y'all can. We sure didn't because we are lazy and didn't get around to it. So we won't be having those, but if you all can, that'd be pretty cool.
Didn't get my Brewfest title either because I put it off.
You didn't? I did.
Oh no. Gotta wait a year.
Yeah, pretty much, unfortunately.
Well, anyway, you can find all of the patch notes on Battle.net and, of course, off of our show notes. We're going to move over to Trade Chat. This is a section of the show where we hear back from you, the listener. But first, our guild, PFL, is live on Emerald Dream Alliance side. You'll find our battle tags in the show notes if you guys want to hit us up in WoW anytime. But we did hear back from a few listeners this week, so I want to talk about that. Alex, a.k.a. Gurjin, has mained a rogue since vanilla. This is about our discussion with rogues last week, and he's got to say they are a blast to play. But he can't contest as to how much the Horde likes him when he PvPs. So,
oh yeah,
not much.
Lol.
Yeah, I definitely like playing my rogue, but I know that it's probably not fun to play against.
No.
I started an alt that was a rogue, and I must say, stealth is very OP.
Yep, it's pretty cool.
Friggin' stealth, man.
Once you go stealth, you don't go back. So.
Rogues are fun to play. They really are.
Trevor also wrote us in, and he just said that he doesn't really care about rogues. But he does say that, Lane, you were probably experiencing, somebody either twinked out with a lot of gear or heirlooms. He says what rogues do is go after the guy in the clown suit. So, must have been you.
I was a
pick-
walking space alien with like a hammer, so you know what?
There you
Probably right.
That'll do it. A dabble do ya.
There you go. Thanks, Trevor. And Joel also left us a good comment on the site. Now, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Well, it's not easy being wrong all the time.
I mean, we have to try to do that. You
It
can't.
takes class. It takes class.
You act like it just comes naturally to people. I mean, that's
it's
just
work. It's a lot of work.
Especially for me, doing these boss fights about stuff that I have no idea. Like, God.
It's something that doesn't come natural to us. You know, Joel? It's gonna happen one way or another, so you might just have to, just accept it.
Gotta accept us how we are.
Well, Joel, thanks for the righteous comment. We're glad you enjoyed the show.
We have to hold them to hitting us up in game. We have to.
Yeah, definitely. Come by Emerald Dream sometime.
All right.
So at this point, we are going to close out the show. Thanks for the group, and thanks for tuning in this week. Please feel free to shoot us any questions, complaints, or screenshots of your time-lost proto-drake to pals@palsforlife.net. I'd love to see one in the flesh.
Yes. Well, you never actually will, so it'll be.
He's not getting one, so if he can see someone else, he can kind of live through you a little bit. So.
Yeah, just some vicarious fulfillment.
I believe in you.
I bet you could get one if I play.
Persist.
I bet Lane will get one his first try.
Yeah, if we play together, we do that, I'll get the drop and I'll keep it forever.
That's more incentive for you to get back in soon.
Maybe.
Anyway, to listen to any of our previous episodes, check out our website, palsforlife.net, and of course you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and anywhere else podcasts are found. Until next time, this has been Pals for Life.
Yeah. See you guys.
We're good, okay.
Yeah, let me get some water.
Start the watches.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, hold on.
Take a sippy sip.
Lane, I think you might need to. Or I say for episode 10 you have to be playing WoW, so it's up to you. So by episode 10 you have to be playing WoW.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, it's probably gonna happen next week, maybe.
Heyo. Yeah, we have to hold them to.
It's a good thing we have that next week part recorded.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going in the gag reel.